Welcome to Numismatics Hub, your ultimate destination for fascinating stories, rare coin discoveries, and all things numismatics. Join us as we explore the world of currency and uncover hidden treasures one coin at a time. In the world of numismatics, some coins are not just about their monetary value but the story they carry with them, stories of history, culture, and craftsmanship. Among the countless coins that make up the rich tapestry of the United States monetary system, one stands out for its unique design, historical significance, and its almost mythic value, the 2020 USA In God We Trust 5-cent penny. But this is not just any ordinary coin. For most of us, the 5-cent penny is something we toss into our change jars or maybe even ignore altogether. After all, it's been around for so long, its significance might seem lost in the daily shuffle of modern currency. But when you take a closer look at this particular penny, minted in 2020, you realize there's so much more to it than meets the eye. The coin is shrouded in a deep layer of history, and its rarity and value are astonishing enough to stop even the most seasoned collectors in their tracks. In fact, you could be holding a small fortune in your hand and not even know it. Let's begin with the first question most people ask. Why is this penny so valuable? Well, before we dive into the dollar signs, let's talk about the penny's history and design, which are the keys to understanding why it could be worth an eye-popping $183,000. The history of the penny dates back to 1793, the early days of the U.S. Mint when the nation was still forging its identity. The 5-cent coin has gone through numerous redesigns, evolving along with the country itself. The penny has always been an interesting case in American numismatics because, unlike other coins that have been redesigned on a regular basis, the penny's design has remained relatively constant. That is, until the modern era when the United States Mint started experimenting with more contemporary designs to reflect the nation's changing values and priorities. This brings us to 2020. In that year, the Mint produced the In God We Trust 5-cent penny, a coin that captured the attention of collectors and history enthusiasts alike. It wasn't the design itself that made the coin stand out, though it's beautiful in its own right, but rather the fact that certain pennies, especially those minted in 2020 at the Philadelphia Mint, had a unique characteristic. Some of these pennies were produced with errors that would make them exceedingly rare. To fully understand this, let's step back a moment. As you probably know, coins are produced by a minting process in which designs are stamped onto metal discs, copper-plated zinc in the case of the penny. However, this process is not without its flaws. Sometimes minting errors occur, things like misaligned dies, double die designs, or even design elements being slightly off-center. The 2020 penny is an excellent example of a coin that, due to these minor errors, has become highly sought after in the world of collectors. These errors, though often minute, can cause the coin's value to skyrocket. For collectors, these imperfections make the coin much more interesting, much more valuable, because it tells a story of an accident, an anomaly that turns something as ordinary as a penny into a treasure. So what makes the 2020 In God We Trust penny so special? It all comes down to its design, the history behind that design, and of course, those rare minting errors. The most common of these errors found on this penny is a double die obverse, where the image on the front of the coin appears slightly doubled. This happens because of a malfunction in the minting process where the die that stamps the design onto the coin was slightly shifted or improperly aligned during production. The result is a unique coin that collectors love because it's different from the norm. The design of the 2020 penny itself is simple yet powerful. On the obverse, we find the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, as we have since 1909. This was the year the U.S. Mint introduced the Lincoln penny, which quickly became one of the most iconic coins in American history. The reverse of the penny, however, is where we see the coin's most notable design feature in 2020, the phrase, "In God We Trust," which is prominently displayed. This motto, adopted in the 1950s during the height of the Cold War, carries deep religious significance and resonates with many Americans. It was originally placed on coins during a period of national stress, but it continues to appear on many pieces of American currency today, while the design itself is striking. It is the errors on these pennies that have made the 2020 so highly coveted by collectors. The phrase, "In God We Trust," has been one of the most celebrated symbols on U.S. coins, and when paired with a minting error, it amplifies the rarity and value of this particular penny. The most famous error is the doubling of the date, which gives the coin an almost surreal, ghostly look. It's as if the coin was caught in a moment of transition, a snapshot of a historical event frozen in time. This is where the real story begins. As soon as collectors began noticing these errors, rumors of their value started to spread. At first, it was hard to gauge just how rare these coins were. Some thought it was just a minor flaw, a mistake that would eventually be disregarded by most. However, as time went on and more of these errors were discovered, it became clear that this was something truly unique, something that had to be seen to be believed. The first confirmed sales of the 2020p In God We Trust penny with the doubled die obverse and date went for hundreds of dollars, more than most people would ever expect to pay for a single penny. And this was just the beginning. As word spread and more collectors got their hands on these extraordinary coins, the price continued to climb. The real kicker came when a specific example of the 2020p penny with a particularly rare and well-defined minting error sold for an astonishing $183,000 at auction. This isn't just a coin, it's a piece of history. When you look at it, you're looking at something that was made in 2020 but could easily be worth more than most people's entire savings. But why would someone pay so much for a coin? It's about rarity, of course, but it's also about the thrill of discovery, the excitement of holding something with such a rich story. The 2020p In God We Trust penny embodies everything that makes numismatics so fascinating: history, artistry, chance, and the possibility of stumbling upon something truly extraordinary for those lucky enough to have one of these coins. The 2020p penny represents not just a chance for financial gain, but also an understanding of the unpredictable nature of collecting. It's a reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures aren't the ones that are readily apparent, they're the ones that require a keen eye, a deep understanding, and sometimes a bit of good luck. In the end, what makes the 2020p penny truly remarkable is its combination of historical significance, craftsmanship, and rarity. It stands as a testament to the continuing evolution of American coinage and a symbol of the unexpected wonders that can arise from something as simple as a coin. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just starting out in the world of numismatics, the 2020p In God We Trust penny is a shining example of the hidden treasures waiting to be discovered in the world of coins. And for the lucky few who find one, it could be worth a small fortune. The fascinating world of the 2020p penny, it's essential to explore how these rare and valuable coins make their way into the hands of collectors, investors, and enthusiasts alike. While the rarity of the coin is a crucial factor in its value, understanding how to identify such a penny and ensuring you're not overlooking it in your change can make all the difference between finding a rare treasure and dismissing it as just another ordinary coin. For most people, the concept of finding a rare coin in their everyday change seems almost like a fantasy. But the reality is that pennies like the 2020p In God We Trust with minting errors do occasionally pop up in circulation. So, how do you spot one of these rarities among the sea of pennies you might encounter? It requires a careful eye and some knowledge of what makes these particular coins stand out from the rest. The most obvious feature to look for is the doubling effect on the obverse side. The date and In God We Trust motto will appear faintly duplicated, as if the design was slightly stamped twice. The doubling can be subtle, but upon close inspection it becomes apparent. It's essential to have good magnification tools, a magnifying glass, or a jeweler's loupe so you can clearly see the details that set these coins apart. These small nuances may seem trivial at first glance, but in the world of coin collecting, these imperfections are treasures in disguise. Another feature to look for is any misalignment in the design, such as an off-center strike. This happens when the metal planchet, the blank piece of metal that will become the coin, isn't aligned perfectly in the press. This can lead to some interesting errors where parts of the design, like the date or portrait of Lincoln, might be cut off or misaligned. These kinds of mistakes can turn an ordinary penny into a rarity. Of course, finding a rare 2020p penny in circulation isn't something that happens every day. However, collectors who specialize in finding minting errors know to keep their eyes peeled, and they regularly scour coin rolls for the slightest hint of a rare variation. Some even purchase large quantities of pennies from banks in the hopes of discovering these elusive gems. For many collectors, the journey to discovering a rare coin can be just as exciting as the reward itself. The thrill of the hunt, digging through rolls of coins, sorting through piles of pennies, carefully inspecting each one, becomes an integral part of the numismatic experience. And for those who find a 2020p penny with a notable minting error, the payoff can be extraordinary, but the real value of these coins doesn't come from luck alone. Expert collectors and investors understand that the worth of a coin goes beyond its rarity. It's also about the demand. There's a huge community of collectors who actively seek out these types of coins, and with the right provenance, a coin's value can continue to rise over time. Now, the question many of you are probably asking is, How does one sell or even get their hands on such a coin? Once you've discovered that you own a rare 2020p penny with a double die or other significant minting error, it's essential to get it professionally graded and authenticated. The process of grading is performed by established numismatic organizations such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These organizations assess the coin's condition, authenticity, and overall quality, giving it a grade that will play a significant role in determining its market value. Coins that receive higher grades, especially those that show minimal wear, clear errors, and excellent details, are worth more in the collector's market. A coin that is graded as mint state or proof-like and has a rare error could see its value multiply exponentially. For instance, a 2020p penny in excellent condition with a clear, visible double die error could fetch tens of thousands of dollars, as we've seen with recent sales. Once your coin has been graded, you have a few options for selling or auctioning it. Many collectors choose to sell their coins through reputable auction houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, which specialize in rare coins. These auction houses provide a platform where interested buyers can bid on highly sought-after coins, often driving up the price beyond what one might expect. Online marketplaces such as eBay are also popular venues for selling individual rare coins, though it's crucial to be cautious and make sure your coin is accurately described and authenticated to avoid potential issues with buyers. And here's the fascinating part: this penny isn't just for collectors looking to add a rare item to their collection. Investors are increasingly turning to coins like the 2020p In God We Trust penny as part of their portfolios. Why? Because coins with minting errors, particularly those with unique qualities like the ones we've been discussing, are considered tangible assets. Their value isn't tied to the fluctuations of the stock market or traditional investments. Instead, their worth is driven by rarity, condition, historical significance, and demand from collectors and investors alike. In times of economic uncertainty, tangible assets such as rare coins have been known to hold or even increase in value when other investments might falter. So, while finding a rare 2020p penny may seem like a mere stroke of luck, it could be a smart financial move in the long term. The value of coins like these has been known to appreciate over time, especially as fewer of them remain in circulation and their stories become more entwined with the history of American coinage. For now, the current estimated value of the 2020p In God We Trust penny with significant minting errors stands at an eye-popping $183,000. But that number is far from set in stone. As more collectors and investors become aware of the rarity and potential of these coins, their value could continue to climb, making them an even more attractive option for those looking to invest in numismatic treasures. So, what's the bottom line? The 2020p USA In God We Trust 5-cent penny is not just a piece of currency, it's a relic of history, an object of beauty, and, for the lucky few who find one, an investment that can pay off in ways most people could never imagine. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just starting to explore the world of numismatics, this coin serves as a reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures are the ones we least expect to find. Keep your eyes open, and who knows? You might just be holding the next rare penny that could make you a small fortune. In conclusion, the story of the 2020p In God We Trust penny is a perfect example of how numismatics can merge history, art, and financial opportunity. It reminds us that behind every coin, there's a world of possibilities waiting to be discovered, possibilities that could potentially change our financial future. So, the next time you come across a 2020p penny, take a moment to examine it closely. Who knows what treasures might be hiding in plain sight?